Welcome, Farmington High School students. This is your co-pilot, the teacher of the class, but doesn't actually have to do anything. All right. So listen, learning targets. I can divide polynomials. This is the last notes video of the year, so you can start celebrating that you don't have to listen to my voice anymore. All right. So Unit 9. So you're going to divide polynomials. All right. You need to set up the box where you have the divisor outside and the numerator inside. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. Find a number to multiply divisor to get divided. Multiply that number by all parts of the divisor and subtract, repeat, blah, 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 blah. All right, here's what you need. Divisor is going to be outside. So this is the divisor. All right, so then your numerator, or dividend, this is your numerator inside. So then you're going to multiply and divide by a bunch of stuff. All right? You're going to be using this with numbers. And I'm better at just showing you the examples, and I don't want to take a long time. So use long division to find each quotient. So long division is a little bit different. But we have x squared minus 3x plus 40. And then we're going to have x plus 5. Okay? So how does x look like x squared? So to make this x look like an x squared, you would multiply it by x. So x times x is x squared. Then you also have to do the x times the 5, so it's 5x. When you do that, you subtract. So in this, you subtract. This goes to 0. When you subtract this, negative 3 and negative 5 is going to be negative 8x plus 40. So then you are going to make this a negative 8. So you put this as minus 8. So 8 and x is going to be negative 8x minus 40. I only made one mistake here. This is a star, so this is a minus 40, and a minus 40 would all cancel out. So if we're subtracting here, make this a plus and a plus. So that's 0 and 0, because then your remainder here is 0. That would make the answer to this just x minus 8, which is located here with no remainder. Then you're going to have this other one. On the number on the outside is the denominator. Number on the inside is here. Remember, you want to figure out in your head what makes 2x look like 2x squared, and that's just going to be x. So 2x squared minus an x, minus 1x, whatever. This is going to be minus. This is going to become plus then. Minus a negative is plus. These go to 0. 3 plus 1 is 4. 4x minus 5. To make a 2x looks like a 4x, I'm going to multiply by 2. A positive 2 would make this a 4x. Minus 2, we're going to subtract. Minus a negative is add. This goes to 0. However, negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3. So you have a remainder. This is an R, remainder of negative 3. What you want to do then is make this x plus 2 minus 3 divided by 2x minus 1. That doesn't change. Now, to make this more fun, we get rid of long division and we can make it synthetic division. So what the synthetic division is x minus 3 equals 0. If you add 3 and add 3, you're going to have x equals a positive 3. So you put that 3 in the corner. Whatever. All right. Now, also, you're going to have a 1 here, so it'd be 1, 5, negative 24. How this works is you would drop this 1 to be a 3. 3 times 3 is 9. So you do 5 and 9 is 14. Times 3 is a 42. And this would be negative 24 and 42. I screw up somewhere. Yep. Nope. This is a 1. This is a 3. 3 and 5 make an 8, which makes this a negative 24. What we're trying to show you is that this is positive 24, so they end up being 0. Either way, this is a positive. So here's our remainder. This is our constant. This is our x. So we're going to have 1x plus 8 as our final answer. Now, what I was going to do is show you the two differences between synthetic and long division. If we did the long division thing still, we would have had x squared plus 5x minus 24, right? X, to make that look like that, is x squared minus 3x. You're subtracting, and subtracting a negative is adding. You'd have 8x minus 24, so then it'd be a positive 8. And then you'd have 8x minus 24. 0, 0. These all cancel. So your remainder is 0. However, your answer is still x plus 8. So now these are synthetic on the left and long division on the right because I did them in backwards order. Doesn't really matter. You get to choose what you want to do. So now we get to fly. Synthetic is kind of what I did on the left here. Notice, for starters, that you drop the 1 down. Right away I made it a 3, which was my mistake. Then we also like to add in our labels here of remainder, constant, and x so we don't get confused. So this is what they have. Synthetic division with polynomials. So divisor equal to 0. So setting the divisor equal to 0 is this piece up here. This is what I was dividing by, x minus 3. So you set that equal to 0 to know what to put up here in the corner. And then from there you bring numbers down. So make sure you have that written down because I'm hitting next. Alright, so let's do these real quick. So if x plus 3 is equal to 0, I subtract 3 to get x by itself. So you have x equals negative 3. Negative 3 is going in the corner. You have 1, 5, and 6. You drop the 1. Alright? Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. 5 minus 3, when I add that together, I get 2. Negative 3 times 2. So if you think of it, negative 3 times 2 is going to be negative 6. And that remainder is 0. So then that makes this my constant and this my x value. So I have 1x plus 2 for the answer for that one. If you want to keep going, this is plus 5. I know that it's going to be minus 5 equals 0 minus 5. So x equals negative 5. So then it's always going to be the opposite number. 1, 9, and 20. So you drop the 1. Times by negative 5 is negative 5. Drop the 4. That's what they add up to be. It's going to be negative 20. This is 0. This is my remainder. This is my constant. This is my x. So it's going to be 1x plus 4. One thing to note is that this is x squared, and I'm dividing by an x. X squared divided by x is going to be an x. That's why your polynomial here is x to the first power, because you are getting a smaller value. 7. So then we do x cubed, just to make it a little bit harder. So 2x cubed. I would have said this is a minus 3, so you're going to have x equals negative 3. Negative 3. Then my numbers I copied down are 2, 3, negative 4, and 15. So 2, 3, negative 4, 15. This is going to be dropped down, so 2 times the negative 3 is negative 6. This is negative 3. Negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. 9 minus 4 is 5. 5 times the negative 3 is negative 15. Remainder is 0. So this is where we like the remainder, constant, x squared. So because I had a polynomial with 3 to start, getting rid of one of those is going to be an x squared, which I have right here. So the answer here is 2x squared minus 3x plus 5 when you do that division correctly. So up here, this is our divisor in the blue box there. So this is going to be 3x plus 1 equals 0. So you subtract 1, subtract 1. 3x equals negative 1. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. So our divising number that we're going to use here is negative 1/3. So negative 1/3. I'm going to put it in a box like that. So then we have 9, 9, 11, and negative 4. Drop the 9. That doesn't really work. Drop the 9. That's going to be a 9. 9 times a negative 1/3 is going to be negative 3. 9 minus 3 is 6. This is going to be a negative 2. 11 minus 2 is 9. 9 times a negative is a negative. Divided by 3 is 3. I get a remainder of negative 7. Okay, when you do that, there's one other thing you have to do. This box up here was 3x plus 1. You also have to divide it by 3. So you divide everything by 3 except for the remainder. So this answer is going to be 3, 2, and 3 minus 7 over 3x plus 1. Now if I were to do this as my remainder, c, x, and x squared, then you're going to get 3x squared plus 2x plus 3 minus 7 over 3x plus 1. Alright, then we're going to go to 9. Alright, and in number 9, you're going to have x cubed squared 1, nothing. Alright, so f5x minus 4 equals 0. Add 4, add 4. 5x equals 4. 5, 5. So x is going to be 4/5. So this is 4/5. Then we need to have 50, 10, negative 35, and negative 7. Negative 7. 50 dropped is 50. So how I do this in my head is 50 divided by 5 is 10. Times 4 is 40. So this is 40. 10 plus 40 is 50 again. So 50 divided by 5 is 10 times 4 is 40. Negative 35 over 40 is just going to be 5. Well, that's good. 5 divided by 5 is 1 times 4 is 4. So negative 7 plus 4 is negative 3. So then when I go remainder, constant, x squared, I have to do one thing first. And that's because this is a 5x right here. I'm circling it. You have to divide these values by 5. And it's only the numbers, it's all the values except for the remainder. Don't do the remainder, that stays the same. So the answer here is going to be 10x squared plus 10x plus 1 minus 3 times 5x minus 4. So this is a minus here. And then last but not least, so we got negative 1. So it's going to be 2x plus 3 equals 0 minus the 3. We're going to have 2x equals negative 3 divided by 2. X equals negative 3 halves. So negative 3 halves. So in my box, I have 2, negative 17, negative 38. 2 divided by 2 is 1 times the negative 3 is negative 3. Negative 17 plus negative 3 is negative 20. Alright, negative 20 divided by 2. Actually, let's go a negative and a negative, make a positive. And then 20 divided by 2 is 10 times 3 is 30. So I get a negative 8 for a remainder. This is the constant. This is the x. Now don't forget, this one is the one where we got to divide by 2 because of 2x plus 3. So the best answer here to me is x minus 10 minus the remainder of 8 divided by 2x plus 3. Hey, great news. There's only 4 left. Good thing this doesn't take forever. All right. 6, 15, 28. Ooh. Well, look at this. X to the 4th, 3rd, x to the 1st. So you need an x squared in there. So what you actually have to do is this is going to be minus 2, so x is going to equal negative 2. You actually have to add in the x squared, so that's new. So you do 6, 15, 0, negative 28, and negative 6. That does not give me enough room. Drop the 6. You're going to have 6 times negative 2 is 12. This is going to be 3. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Negative 6 dropped is negative 6. This is going to be a positive 12. 12 and negative 24 is negative 14. I think it's negative 16. Don't write that. Negative 16, which is a positive 32, which makes this 26. Okay. I didn't divide by anything up there. That's an x, so I don't have to divide anything. To the 4th, dropped 1. So I could have did my remainder, cx, x squared, x cubed. So 6x cubed plus 3x squared minus 6x minus 16 plus 26 over x plus 2. Alright, so this is the same thing. You're missing an x to the 4th. That looks like it, but you're adding 3 here, so x equals 3. So I would have went 3, 2, 0, negative 1, 3, negative 2, and 7. Drop the 2. 2 times 3 is 6. Drop the 6. 6 times 3 is 18. 18 minus 1 is 17. 3 times 17 is 51. 51 plus 3 is 54. 54 times 3 is 162. 162 minus 2 is 160. 160 times 3 is 480. And I have a remainder of 487. So this is going to be constant x, x squared, x cubed, x to the 4th. Best answer here is 2x to the 4th plus 6x cubed plus 17x squared plus 54x plus 160 plus your remainder of 487 divided by x minus 3. Which is a bunch of work. It's kind of long, but if you can do that, you're off to a good start. Now, the area of a rectangle is an awesome problem that almost everybody gets wrong because they forget to multiply by 2 on their test. Retake tomorrow. Grab the answer key and look at the answers. Okay, so the area of the rectangle. So area of a rectangle is width times length. So area equals length times width. Well, in this problem, we have x cubed plus 3x squared plus 4x plus 1 equals the width, x plus 1. We don't have length. So what we're going to do is divide by the x plus 1 to both sides. Now we could do long division, or we can know that x plus 1 equals 0. You subtract the 1. We could put a little negative 1 up here. Then we could write down these constants. Alright, so 1, 3, 4, 1. Okay, 1, 3, 4, 1. You're going to drop the 1. It's going to be a negative 1. Just kidding. If you drop the 1, it's a 1. But you're going to multiply it by the negative 1. So you'd have 1, negative 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 times the negative 1 is negative 2. 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 times 1 is negative 2. And we're going to have a remainder of 1, it looks like. So if I did remainder, constant, x squared, the answer to this is x squared plus 2x plus 2 plus 1 divided by x plus 1. That is the answer there. And 14 was actually the one I was talking about, because area is going to equal base times height divided by 2. Right, so what we need to do to cancel out this 2 on the bottom is multiply by 2 on each side. So you have to multiply the area by 2. So you have 2 twice the area equals base times height. It wants us to find the length of the base. So that means they gave us height, so we'll divide by the height. And base can equal twice the area divided by height. So twice the area would mean I have 16x to the 4th minus 60x cubed. So I'm going to take this whole thing and just multiply by 2. So I'm going to have 32 x to the fourth. I don't even need to write that. Just write 32. Write negative 120. Write negative 56. Write plus 112 minus 32. And in the corner, if my x minus 4 is my thing, you could make this an x minus 4, so I would have to add 4 to each side. So this is going to be a 4. So I dropped my 32. Okay, you multiply by 4, you're going to get 128. So this is going to be a positive 8 now. 8 times 4 is 32. So that's going to be a negative 24. Negative 24 times 4 is negative 96. So this is going to be 16. 32 times 2 is going to be negative 64. So negative 64, 16 times 4 is 64. This is 0. So as a result, this is going to be my remainder. No remainder, sweet, constant, x squared, x cubed. So this is 32 x cubed plus 8 x squared minus 24x plus 16 for the height of my, or the length of my base. Alright, sweet. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions, find a quality math teacher. Have a great day.